All right, good day, everyone. My name is Master Soul, and I'm privileged to be the coordinator of Educastle International Council. Well, towards our upcoming online training, we've gotten questions as to know what are the objectives of this training, and that's where we want to dive into as quickly as possible. Now, first of all, for those of us in elementary school, and for those of us who are interested in learning the English language, then obviously this will be the right place for you. For those of us in elementary school, at that level, English is being introduced to you. So, and in introducing English, you need to understand the concept of grammar. And what is grammar? Grammar is no other thing than the putting of words in their right places. And what do we mean when we say putting of words, the right words in the right places? We're talking about the word classes. And what are the word classes? The parts of speech. So when you understand how the parts of speech work, we're going to be starting by the introduction of the letters of the alphabet. You go to joining letters together to form words, 2-letter words, 3-letter words, and it goes on like that. Now, for those of us in the junior secondary school, you'll be getting more understanding because at that level we refer to it as English studies. So you're expected to study more the English you have been taught at your primary school, both at the junior and at the lower and upper primary school. So at that level, we want to see how much of the study of the English you understand. So we're expanding much more to you the details in the understanding of the word classes, the nouns, the parts of speech, and the eight word classes you have, and how to put them into use. Besides that, at your level at the junior secondary school, we'll be looking at grammar. We'll be looking at from grammar, we'll be looking at composition. We'll be looking at comprehension, and finally we'll be looking at writing, okay, the different types of writing as it's going to be affecting your composition. So these are the basic things. Also, in addition to your package at that level, you also be looking at literature, okay, because your literature is infused into your English language. Why not for those of us at the senior secondary level? This is where we put to use what we have learned at the primary level, the study at the junior secondary level, and presently you have the usage of all you learned, how you put it to work. And that's why your final exam at the senior secondary school is referred to as the use of English. So the question is, how much more of the English you have learned can you put to use? And this is a core part. We're going to be focusing on key areas we know will be of enhancement to you. So let's quickly look at these following things. Okay, number one, we'll be looking at lexis and structure. And under lexis and structure, we have the likes of words opposite in meaning, talking about the antonyms. We have words similar in meaning, talking about the synonyms. You are expected to also understand the most appropriate words. At this level, you need to understand the classification of adjectives, words, comparative and superlative of the likes of the adjectives. So you have big, bigger, biggest. So when we talk about most appropriate, that means there are words that will be in your answers that are appropriate. Some of them are more appropriate, but the instruction of the question tells you pick among the words letter A to D or A to E, the word that is most appropriate. So at that same time, we're going to be looking at best complete. Remember, we have good, better, best. So there are some words in the options you have that will be good for your answer. Some of them may be better, but the instruction says pick out the best one. So we'll be understanding how to tell the differences between how to pick out these options from the answers we have, having an understanding of using best complete. We have to have most opposite in meaning, most similar in meaning, like we've rightly mentioned earlier, the most appropriate, the best complete, and those are part of the things we'll be looking at under the lexis and structure. Also, under the lexis and structure, we'll be looking at collocation. Or what we also refer to as jargons. And in your usual scheme topic, you have it titled words associated with. It could be words associated with agriculture, words associated with fishing. So you need to understand how those words collocate in a particular discipline, how those words referred to are used in those different disciplines. And in some instances, we look at them as words in context, not words as it were as it is used or as it is interpreted or defined by the dictionary meaning, but we're talking about words as it is used by the writer. So it's a good thing we understand words in context. So that is what we're going to be looking at on the lexis and structure. And number two, okay, hold on, let me rewrite that. Okay, number two, we're going to be looking at comprehension. So under comprehension, we have answering comprehensive passages. A lot of us are still having difficulties in answering comprehensive passages. So we're going to be teaching us what we need to know and how best we answer comprehensive passages. Now, one key thing also in the comprehension is grammar in comprehension. We're going to be looking at grammar in comprehension, and we're also going to be looking at the figures of speech in comprehension. Why not? I always tell students now, these two brings about 4 questions in comprehension, referring to your F and G question. F1, F2, G1, G2, where you have the question that asks, oh, give the grammatical name for this expression, and the next question comes, what is its meaning? So we need to understand grammatical functions, and if you don't understand the classes of words, especially when we are talking about the nouns, the adjectives, the adverbs, the preposition, and the verbs, if we don't understand their classes and their functions, answering grammatical structures will be quite difficult. Also, as an English student, it's also a good thing for you to understand some levels of literature, because this will also give life to your writing. So we'll also be coming to look into some key figurative expressions that we are also going to learn to understand how to use them when we are writing, and also when we want to answer comprehensive questions. So number 3, we're going to be looking at summary. Okay, and also how to answer summary questions. Many of us will always lift the answers of summary from the summary passages, unknown to us that it is wrong. We answer it directly just the same way we answer comprehensive questions. But we need to understand that answering summary questions means you understanding the key aspect, the key words in comprehension, understanding in summary, understanding the questions you have been asked, and being able to do what? Put it in your own words. So we're going to be guiding you to do that. Then from summary, we're going to be looking at essay writing. In essay writing, we're going to be talking about the writing of articles, 1, the writing of speeches, 2, the writing of debates, 4, the writing of stories, and finally, letter writing. Letter writing, looking at the aspects of formal letters, informal letters, and semi-formal letters. What differentiates a semi-formal letter from the formal and the informal letters? A lot of people, a lot of us, a lot of students are still having issues with that. Some clearly understand what a formal letter is, some clearly understand what informal letters are, but most are yet to understand the difference between who to write a semi-formal letter to. Do you know that a semi-formal letter could be written to an uncle of yours? Why? Because it's actually not close to you. Because an informal letter is actually a letter you write to somebody that is close to you. When I mean close to you, somebody you relate with virtually every time on a one-on-one basis. You relate with the person, you are free with the person to talk to the person. So, but we need to understand all of these as well. All right, so from understanding what it is, we're going to be teaching us what we call outlines. In order for you to develop a good writing, you have to first of all start with how to develop outlines. So when we get to the basis, you'll be looking at some of these things. So when we leave essay writing, we will be going to oral English, and this is where the learning is going to begin from. Okay, many of us, while we were growing up, we were taught the letters of the alphabet. Very few of us got to understand what the sounds of the alphabet are, or what the English sounds are. Even while I studied English in the university, I fully did not understand the English sounds until I began having what I call PDS, personal development studies of my own, until I fully grasped all I've been struggling with in the secondary school. And to the glory of God, today I teach my students in 1 week to be able to identify all of the 44 sounds in English, to be able to produce or pronounce all of the 44 sounds in English, and they begin to learn how to transcribe them. You can be rest assured that following the principles I'm going to guide you or teach you with, within a month, you will have your finger on the 44 sounds of English, how to produce them, and how to transcribe them, and how to put them to use, which is the ultimate of learning. Why not on the oral English, from where this teaching is going to start? We're going to be looking at identification of vowels, identification of consonants, We're going to be looking at what are syllables, what is stress, from there, intonation, stress pattern, stress rules. Now, in order for you to improve your fluency in the speaking of the English language, then obviously you need to understand all of these subtopics I've put aside under the oral English question. Please realize that in you learning English, now this is not just for academic purposes. We're also looking at how children and students or learners will be able to draw a stream from teaching, just like I am doing today. Now, your understanding of these key things could make you an instructor of any aspect of it to anyone who is interested in learning this. Also, in the aspect of writing, we want to see a situation whereby children begin to pick a passion for writing and draw a stream from it through the aid of their parents, whereby they can write storybooks, they can write stories, they can draw, put up comics, and put on different writings that can be published. And you can be rest assured, if you don't want to have the hard copies, why not? There are so many online platforms there, like Amazon, where you can actually put up your write-ups, and people get to read them, and you get paid for having that online. So these are part of the things we want the children to learn, or our learners to know, not just for the purpose of academics, but but also for the purpose of creating a stream out of this learning platform. Why not? These are the things we've been able to put into consideration in our online training, which we have titled reading, writing, listening, and speaking exercises, with key focus on the things I've explained earlier, talking about children, especially from the upper primary to the junior secondary, and finally the senior secondary schools. Also, we have also opened this channel up to have adult learning, okay, for those of us who are adults and for one reason or the other we've not been able to brush up our speaking skills or our writing skills. Well, this is a good platform for you to do so. Just engaging us, and by the grace, by the privilege of the little we know, we will be able to ensure that you get your learning as accurate as possible. And within a short period of time, you would also be good to go to handle things yourself, and not just handle things yourself. Now, the idea of teaching, from what we understand, is that when we teach you, you would also be able to teach those around you. And that is how we can eradicate the values of the English language, and a greater community gets to understand the right things they need to know, and the things they need to improve upon from what they've been taught. For instance, when I didn't understand, I never understood that the letter I learned to call R never existed in English. I'd always called it R all my life, but after leaving the university and making it a priority of passion to, get to know better how to teach or learn the English, I discovered it is pronounced as R. Okay, it's pronounced as R, and not R. So it took a while. It took a long while. Imagine all the way from primary school, all the way from secondary school, even with the university, for me to discover that after several years. But today, with the things I've been able to discover, I make it easy for my students to learn and understand better. And these are part of the things you will be exposed to. Thank you so much all for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on WhatsApp on 0812 316 2303. I repeat, 0812 316 2303. We'll be ready to answer your questions. Registration began yesterday. So for every one of you that are interested, please sign up with us, and we'll be good to go with your words. Also, you can reach us on mail by mailing us on Educastle International consult.itl@gmail.com. Educastle International.itl@gmail.com. So with that, you can reach us on mail, and we'll be ready to receive you or respond to you. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely day.